Audio mixing on the SVM is intuitive and works exactly as it does on any of Pioneer's installation-grade mixers. But on top of this, every audio mix and EQ knob can control video. And in some cases, there are duplicates for video where two knobs make more sense than one. Now, one example of this is the gains. On the SVM, there are audio gains for each of the 4 channels, but also video gains. This lets you mix in video on a channel independent of the audio. It also means you can combine video from 4 separate channels, effectively combining 4 layers of video in a mix. This method of mixing is a paradigm shift in video mixers. When you combine 2 channels, instead of subtracting half the brightness from each and combining the 2, now you actually get the full luminance of each video channel. Now, this is essential when you're battling it out with club lights and smoke machines. With the SVM, mixing audio and video can be as hassle-free as you want it to be, or you can take full control of the show. Let's load up a couple of tracks and show you how it's done. The most straightforward way of controlling your video mix is by using the touch panel's 4 preview screens. First, we'll turn on the master monitor function so we can see all of our previews as well as the master video output. Down here on channels 2 and 3, you can see we have 2 videos playing in queue, but neither of them is mixed to the master output. To put video up on the screen, all I have to do is touch the preview, and that video is instantly routed to the master. To turn it off, I touch it again. If I then touch the preview for channel 3, that video is brought in a balanced mix on the master output. This is a simple on-off operation. But I can also fade the video in and out using the independent video trims on the channel. We fade channel 2 out, and now channel 3. And now we bring them both back up. And by touching the previews, we switch them off again. If we switch to video solo mode, we get a new way of mixing video. Now, rather than turning video on and off in a mix, touching the preview image switches the video to that channel. Our video trims still work, but we have to have that channel selected. You'll also notice all of this operates independent of the audio, and it gives you great flexibility. We can also coordinate the audio and video by turning on Fader AV Sync. I'm also still in video solo mode, you see. Now, when I bring up the up fader on a channel, I not only bring up the audio, but also switch the video to that channel. Bringing up the up fader on another channel instantly switches to that video, as well as fading in audio. If we assign our up fader channels to crossfader channels A and B, we access a whole new range of audio and video mixing options. The most obvious choice here is to switch on Fader AV Sync. In this case, whenever we use the crossfader, we move from the audio and video on one crossfader channel to the audio and video on the other. Now, touching the preview momentarily turns off the video, like we're performing a video transform. You can also create a tap-on transform by touching the transform bit on either side of the AV Sync crossfader. Or you can take momentary control of the video mix through the touch panel by running your finger back and forth across the AV Sync crossfader. And finally, by setting the crossfader curve, we change the character not only of the audio crossfade, but also of the video. This is great for dropping in an old-school transform scratch effect. There are 5 more damn fine reasons to use the AV Sync with the crossfader, and you'll find them all along this row of virtual buttons. This is where you can change the character of your video transition from a traditional fade to a wipe, a straight transform switch, or 3 different types of keying. 2 chroma keys for placing your foreground images against a separate background, like they do with the Weather Girl, or luminance keying, which lets you mix the brightest areas from each video against one another. If you want complete control over your audio and video using the crossfaders, you can also keep your up fader channels assigned to crossfader channels A and B and turn off Fader AV Sync. Now, you can control the audio crossfade with the physical crossfader and the video crossfade with the virtual crossfader. It doesn't get much more flexible and customizable than that, but that's just the start of the story, particularly in terms of the way that you can mix audio and video together. Because what the SVM allows you to do is, as you're controlling your audio EQ and effects, you can also control your video EQ and effects. Let's start with the video EQ. We're all familiar with the DJ standard for low, mid, and high for audio EQ, controlled from a row of knobs in an audio channel. But with the SVM, you can also use the knobs to affect the way your video looks. To set up the video equalizer, first press and hold the video EQ button. You'll get a dialog screen in the middle of the mixer that lets you assign different effect functions to all of the low, mid, and high knobs. You can choose to control coloration of the video, like this. Or you can control video contrast, hue, or saturation. And when you're ready to try out some other effects, you can turn off the video EQ and control the audio EQ separate from the video.